be able to watch the recording section that are there already. So with me, we have the speaker for today, Mr. Raphael Gabmomo. He's an experienced cloud and DevOps engineer, and he's going to take us on the getting started on a DevOps journey, transformation journey part 2. And I hope you gain something exciting for today's section. Welcome, Mr. Raphael.
Thank you
And
very much.
over to you. Okay.
Thank you. So I hope that you guys are ready. I unfortunately last week I went off so early because I was having network issue, but Mr. Imo took over from me. So today I'll be continuing from where he stopped. He hit on some very critical issues last week. Okay, before you come to the cloud, what are the basic things that you need to do and all that he touched on them. So we'll be picking up from we'll be continuing from I'll be continuing from the parts where he described waterfall and agile and all that. So just give me a few minutes to share my slides with you, and we'll continue. Let me bring up my slides. Sorry, my slide is coming up. So by the way, how are you all doing? If you were here last week and you enjoyed the class, put a yes in the chat window while I get my slide.
Sorry, Mr. Raphael, your presentation screen is not up. It's not on the studio.
Yeah, I'm trying to share my slide. Is it up now? Is it? I thought it was up. Yeah, I'm sharing now. What's happening? Sorry, guys, a little technical issue. Oh, Imo, maybe you can play advert while I try to fix this. Oh, it's up now. Okay, so I'm gonna make it full screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being so attentive. Thank you for coming to class as we're gonna trash the issues one by one. Okay. Oh, so give me a minute. Just give me a minute, please. I need to make this full screen. Okay, good. Okay, so Imo, you can see me. You can see my slide now, right?
Yes, I can see. Yes, I can see.
Okay, so guys, now I want to look at this very critically. When we talk about the waterfall approach, just take it that let's look at it from one scenario. When you are building a house from the scratch, what do you need? You need to go to the land, measure the land, clear everything that you need. Then you start. So building of a house, okay, takes different stages and steps. Okay, so and those steps, you must complete one before you do another one. Let's take, for example, if you say you are raising a 3-story building, if you do not put the decking, you cannot continue the other one. That's how the waterfall approach is. The waterfall approach has different steps that you need to follow. And now, one big critical issue with this waterfall approach that I don't like too much, and as you all know, the IT practitioners of 2022 don't like as well, is because each of those steps have a lot of issues, because you need to gather requirements, you need to fulfill each step. If not, you cannot move forward. And if there is a mistake, it takes a lot of time, to revert the changes. So that's why waterfall is it today, as we speak in 2022, is not actually the recommended approach to attack all these issues. Then let's look at the next approach, agile approach. Agile is good because we are looking at very, very small changes, how each changes contribute to the total success of your whole project. So for agile approach, we are emphasizing on adaptive planning and early delivery. You promise customers Oh, let me even go this way. Okay. Now I'm sure that you all have WhatsApp. Okay. And you've seen the little change that WhatsApp made. Lately, WhatsApp added something very beautiful, WhatsApp reaction. So just imagine WhatsApp, they have a plan to release these reactions to you, and it takes them, it takes them 2 years. That's nonsense. No, so they want to make sure that you get what you get, very fast, and they are focused on, real short time outcome. So let's move forward and see what other parts have to tell us. So when you're dealing with agile development, remember I said earlier, you are focused on early delivery, faster approach, customer satisfaction. You don't want that step of waterfall, that if there's a problem with each step. Oh, I told you earlier, we were looking at a building construction. Okay, if you do not make the foundation of a house well, what is going to happen to that house? The other things will not work. That's agile. But no, sorry, that's waterfall, but agile is totally different. So number one, okay, let's look at the principles one by one. Number one, you want to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of value. Okay, we talked about value the other time before I went off. What is value? You being able to give the customers what you promised them. That's value. So you want to satisfy them early. You want them to be happy. Okay, you promised, okay, you're working on a WhatsApp reaction. You want WhatsApp reaction to be there. So now, another good thing about agile development, okay, they welcome changing requirements. So you for the previous one, if you are changing requirements, to implement that change will take so long. But for this one, it's fast, it's easy to implement, and so yeah, so we've said delivery frequently, and another very good important part of it, as we go down in this module, you will see that it's very important for people in an agile project to work together. Okay, so working together is a key for DevOps, and is a key for agile project development. Okay, so now, you want to build projects around motivated team. You don't want people that don't like the project to be in your team. And later on, there's something that relates to this in the modules going forward. Okay, but you want to employ people that know the job, people that have a passion for the job, people that really, really, really love that kind of thing to work on that project. Okay, so now you want to make sure that people that are working on the project can talk, continuously. They can talk, they can exchange ideas, they can know where there's a problem and how to work on it together. So number 7, they measure progress through working software. So how do you measure that WhatsApp reaction is successful? You probably deployed it and you saw that, yes, we the users are able to use the different emojis. So yes, it worked. So that's how you measure progress in an agile project. So, and also agile process promotes sustainable development. Agile process promotes sustainable development. Okay, so I'll move a little bit fast because the content is a little bit chunky. So you also pay continuous attention to technical excellence and good design, because like I said earlier, you want to have motivated team. You want to have people that know the project, people that know the job. So because of that, you get good stuff. Okay, you get good stuff. You get a project that is working and all that. So I hope that with this few explanation, you've been able to understand the little difference between waterfall and agile. Agile is like looking at how to deliver value, how to make things good, how to work together. So all the positivities. Okay, when you think about agile, think about all the positivities. You want to work together, you want to deliver fast, you want to do things the way they're supposed to do, you want the project, you want the software to be working. Okay, so yeah, let's move forward. Now, let's explore ideal team members for a DevOps project. Okay, for a DevOps project, what kind of people do you want to be in a DevOps project? Now there are a list of some here. Okay, so there is think there is no need to change. Okay, so many teams, okay, hire external coach or mentor. So for every DevOps project, you want to see that there is an agile coach. Okay, agile coach can mentor and teach. Okay, so and those coaches have some years of experience. Remember, we were talking earlier that you want the teams to be highly motivated. You want a project that is deliverable. You want a project that works. You measure the success of an agile project by a working software. So therefore, there is need for a trainer that that can motivate and mentor people and make sure that everything is following according to the agile process. You do make sure that everything do not deviate from what is supposed to be. So the team members must learn as they work. Okay, acquire skill from each other, because we said earlier that it must be a collaborative process. They must talk to each other. So because of that, there's sharing of ideas and all that. Let's move forward. Okay, now there are very, very important things that we would be looking at. Remember when this topic was started last week, we said that it's a collaboration between people. It has to do with a change of mindset. It has to do with it enables cultural changes, more open workspaces, change of mindset. You need to talk. Guys, if you really want to be in a DevOps project, you want to work in DevOps, you need to put, being mentally stuck up aside. Okay, the idea that this guy is a Yoruba, this guy is Hausa, this guy is Igbo, tribalism cannot be there, because you are focused on the skills that person has, not the individuality of that person. You want to focus. That guy knows how to code using Go, and this project requires Go. He's very good at Go, so that's what you focus on. You leave aside all your cultural mindset and everything. Okay, you focus. Okay, now it enables cross-functional teams, so collaboration with others, diversity of opinion. Okay, you are open to taking feedbacks from your teammate. This thing is supposed to be like, you look at it, maybe what he said is true. You take a look at it and go back to the drawing board. So then also there are some very important tools that are used, okay, for collaboration when it comes to DevOps and agile process. We have Slack. Slack can be used. Teams, Microsoft Teams, okay, Asana, Glip, and Jira. So if you're in Nigeria and you're working in a Nigerian project, I'm sure that you'll be very familiar with most of the companies here. They like using Jira and Teams. Okay, so everything in Jira, it's similar to what you'll have in we'll be looking at them in Azure DevOps and even Azure projects later on. So you need collaboration tools, okay, when working on a DevOps project, because like we said, communication is key. Okay, and you're not focusing on the differences of people. You're not focusing on the tribe, the skin color. No, you're focusing on the skills, because you want delivery of a working software. You don't care about if that guy is gay or no. You don't care. You just want the skills. So collaboration is key. Let's move forward. Now, when we select tools and processes for agile plans, so tools can enhance outcome. Okay, when you're doing something manually and when you're using something that will help you move faster, just imagine. Let me break it down a little bit. Okay, maybe you stay at Ikeja and you work in Victoria Island. You decide to say, okay, maybe before you had money, you were entering probably Moluwe. I don't know if they even drive Moluwe again in Lagos. It's been so long I've been to Lagos. Okay, so it's either you used to enter bus, okay, but now you have some money, you bought a car, so car helps you move faster. So tools, that's how tools are in DevOps. Tools will help you achieve better results, faster outcome. Okay, so in the case of these things, this subject matter that we're discussing, physical tools such as whiteboard, okay, index card, sticky paper would really help bring the points to you know, it will really make you push out the message. So project management tools such as Kanban board are used for planning, monitoring, and visualization. So if you've used Jira before, you know that the board there is based on, you can actually use Kanban board for the board there, and it's so cool how it presents the issues that are to do ongoing and completed and all that. So let's move forward. So screen recording tools are also important for the agile process because you'll be able to record bugs, walkthroughs, tutorials and demonstration, so that those, remember in the previous slide, we made mention that the agile process, you can learn from each other. So what you don't know and your team member has it has been recorded somewhere, you can quickly go and just watch the walkthrough or read through, and you get a grasp of it and continue your work. So let's move forward. So now we'll be focusing into DevOps, how to choose the DevOps tool properly. So now for this one, I think I want to switch a little bit to Azure DevOps to show you, so that you will not be too, so it doesn't look too slide. So now, what is Azure DevOps? Now, last week we made mention of how it came about. Okay, how I gave you the breakdown that, okay, Microsoft has two DevOps tools. How did they come about? So Azure DevOps did not used to be Azure DevOps before. It used to be another name. Over the period, okay, Microsoft used to have a product. Okay, so that product later had an online version. So that product had an online version. So the online version was what transitioned into Azure DevOps, because they were continuously changing the name. Okay, so now it's a tool for making sure that your digital transformation process, your DevOps process goes as fast as possible. Okay, so in Azure DevOps, you have Azure Board, Azure Pipeline, Azure Repo, Azure Artifact, Azure Test Plan. So give me a little minute. I want to show you. I already have my Azure DevOps open, so I want to show you how it looks like directly there. So that it's, okay. Am I sharing this screen? Let me share. Stop sharing. Okay, just give me a minute. I want to share another window so that it's more relatable. So you can see this is a typical Azure DevOps, So whatever we have in this slide, that they are all what you see here. You see, you have boards, you have Azure Repo, Azure Pipeline, Azure Test Plan, Azure Artifact. So the components of Azure DevOps, in case you are asked in the exam, I know they might probably not ask you this in AZ400 because it's they are just, but if you've not done your AZ900, components of Azure DevOps, you have Azure Board, Azure Repo, Azure Pipeline, Azure Test Plan, and Azure Artifact. So we will continue from the slide and I'll show you what each one of them does. But before we go, let me open Azure Board so that you see how cool it is. Okay. Just hold on, it's loading. You can see how cool it is. You have inside Azure Board, you have all the items. So if you want to assign your work item, you can assign. So it's not assigned to somebody. So usually these can be issues that you can assign to someone, and when the person accepts it, it will be in the person accepts it. It usually, like this, is in to-do stage. When the person accepts it, it will say it's doing, and when he has finished it, he will say it's done. So the process is open so that the team knows what is in what project, what item someone has taken up, what item is ongoing, and who is working on that item, and what item has been completed already. So Azure board helps you, like, manage, items in shorter sprint. But we'll be looking at all that. Just hold on. Let me go back to my slides. So at this point, if you have any question, I'd like to have it so the main purpose of today's lecture is to, like, it's like prick your mind a little bit, prepare you so that you know that, okay, for DevOps you need a planning process. Okay, DevOps helps you to make sure that your projects are make sure that you deliver value, and in the process of delivering value, okay, you need to work in an agile manner. Okay, we've left waterfall. You need to work in an agile manner. You need to work with a team that knows what they are doing. It's more of projects. You're managing a project. You want everything to go smooth. You want you want everything to go smooth. So let's continue. I'll share my sliding. So oops, sorry. Give me a minute. Let me bring it up. Okay, so sorry for the little interrupt. But you've seen that it's so cool that instead of, so you've seen this thing that is in this slide. I've opened it to you from the Azure portal. No, from the Azure DevOps portal. So you see that it's not rocket science. It's not difficult. Okay, it's not things that you memorize, because as you've started this process, okay, we're going to be working with it, and guys, you don't need to memorize anything. Let's work with these items, and let's flow. Let's flow together. So now the Azure board that I just opened for you earlier on is for agile planning. Okay, work item tracking, visualization, and reporting tool. What does that mean? I have explained what agile means, and I've explained why we cannot use waterfall. Waterfall, what happens if you do not make your decking well? You cannot raise the house, you cannot roof, because everything will fall. That means you go back and fix before you can continue. That does not happen in agile. So Azure board works with agile. Work tracking, there's a team, there are 20 people. Oh, this guy has picked that he wants to work on this item. So you are seeing when he started it. You will see when he finishes it. So everything is transparent. Remember when we were saying that this involves a lot of communication. So everything is transparent. You are seeing who is doing what. You are seeing when the person is doing it. You are seeing when the person has completed it. So it's so cool. Now let's look at Azure Pipeline. So Azure Pipeline is a language and platform agnostic, meaning that it takes any language you can use on. So remember last week when I was speaking earlier before the network threw me off, we were talking about the fact that Azure DevOps has become a very mature tool. It's not a child's play anymore. It can compete with any DevOps tool anywhere. So it's language agnostics. It does not select. You bring your Python, you bring your Go, you'll be able to run your workload using you'll be able to run your pipeline. So now it's cloud agnostic. You know what cloud agnostic means? Whether it's GCP, whether it's AWS, well, you'll be able to run your workload on it. Okay, so it's a cloud agnostic CI/CD platform with support for containers and Kubernetes. So if you are working with Kubernetes workload, container workload, Azure DevOps, one love for them, one love from them to you. Okay, so Azure repos. Now, if you followed Cloud Skill Challenge, okay, so our trainer, Mr. Imo, has really walked you through on repos and JIT. So you should not have any problem with what a JIT repo is anymore. So now Azure repos provide a cloud hosted private JIT repo. So remember, Microsoft is still the owner of GitHub. So don't get confused. So now Azure repos will give you a cloud hosted private. You don't want your your repos to be open. Okay, you want them to be private. Now, Azure repo is your guy. Okay, now Azure Artifacts. So Azure Artifacts provide integrated package management with support for Maven. So for Azure Artifacts, it's just a package management tool that you can use for your CI/CD workload. So it supports whether it's Maven, npm, Python, Nugget, everything you got. Yeah, Azure DevOps has you covered. So lastly, Azure Test Plan provide an integrated plan, and you've done the work. You want to test anyhow you want it. Azure Test Plan is your guy. So guys, don't look at it that is difficult, because I'm reading from the slide. I've shown you on the Azure DevOps portal. You've seen it yourself. You've seen that these things are there. So they're not difficult, guys. They're not difficult. So remember, this is a continuous series. So this is just the introductory part. Going forward after today is all the harder stuff, not all the fun stuff that we'll be doing. Okay, we're practicalizing each of these things, and you see for yourself that these things are not difficult. So what is GitHub? What is GitHub, guys? Okay, so I know that most of us here are from the Azure community, and we are not new to GitHub anymore. So we talked about it. You probably did the Cloud Skill Challenge. Okay, so the proper definition later on as we go on. Okay, you'll see, because it's a very, very important, guys. For every company, okay, for every company that is into software development, your source code, your code is your currency. Your code is your key. Okay, so GitHub is actually meant for managing, source code. So we'll talk more about that as we go on in the lecture. So code spaces provide cloud-hosted collaborative development environment. So in your GitHub, you'll find code spaces. You'll find a lot of these components in GitHub. You find repos. Repos can be hosted on the cloud and on premise for both public and private projects. Okay, GitHub Actions. Okay, if you follow the Class Skill Challenge, when we connected at a point, okay, you want anything you add to your CV to be automatically taken care of. We did that with the help of GitHub Action. So it provides for you an automated workflow with environment variable and customized scripts to make your life easy in the cloud. Okay, so now let's move forward a little bit. Packages is integration with numerous existing packages and open source repos. So lastly, on this slide, we have security. So we have code reviews. Can also help you identify early vulnerabilities in your development circle. Moving forward, okay. So Azure DevOps services, you can use a Microsoft account or Active Directory to protect and secure your data. So moving forward, okay, guys, this is a very typical exam or interview question. How do
Hello, Mr. Raphael.
Yes.
There's a question from Abu Mera Olayemi.
Okay.
He said, my question is, who assigns the tasks on the Azure board?
Okay, there usually will be an admin. And also let me tell you from my own experience, where I work, okay, where I work, the project manager has the project manager is responsible for that particular project. We have so many projects, okay? So now the project manager is responsible for that particular project. He assigns the task, and also when you complete okay, on that Azure board, you'll have to do. Maybe to do, you have like 100 items on the to do. Okay, this item, maybe there's a bug report with this, customer has complained, there's something with this, there's something with that. Now, you as a member of the team will not see when someone else, the time that someone else has picked the item, but the manager, immediately you pick that item that you want to do as a member of the teammate, the manager will get a notification that so and so person is working on this particular item. So the project manager actually, no, I'm giving a real life scenario now. So on my own real life work, my project manager assigns the task, and when you pick the time you pick the work, okay, he will know because they will send him a notification. When you complete the work, he will know too because they'll send him a notification. But other team members can see that, okay, you have the work, you have already taken the work, or you have already completed it. But the notifications and all that is the project manager that gets them. I hope that I've been able to answer your question. So we're going to proceed. But before we proceed, because I don't know if we'll have time to go through all the items. No, we'll go through all the items, but I don't know if we'll have time to go to the lab. So I want to like show you all the items in that that I mentioned earlier, the pipeline test plan. I showed you board. I'm not talking about board anymore. So we'll just click and see what's in repos, click on what is in pipeline, and all of them before we move forward. Because at the end of today, you're going to have because I think next week I'm still the one that's taking the next lecture. So we're not going to be talking slide, and we're going to be working directly from Azure, your Azure DevOps account. So I want to show you this so you will not get too scared. Okay, so let's. Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. Sorry. Let me. So, guys, I don't want you to be scared. Okay, there's going to be an assignment. So, Azure DevOps is so cool. It's so cool. It makes your life easy. So, I'm going to show you all the process. Okay, so we've already touched on board. Look at what's in repos. Okay, in repos, everything that you see in GitHub, but this time around is private and it's hosted in the cloud. So everything that you can do on GitHub, you can do with Azure repos. So you can see there's a YAML file here, there's git ignore, typical git stuff. Okay, so you can make commits. Okay, you can push. You have branches. You have branches just as it is in your GitHub. You can make pull requests. Okay. So for the pipeline, you can run the pipeline. The task is not complete here, but so for the tests. So we can create one directly on cards. So it's so cool. When you finish doing something, you can test it and see if it's, if it's possible. Because at the end of the day, the objective of this, remember, guys, you want to deliver a working software. You don't want to deliver a software to a customers, and the customers are like, what is this? What is it? Because let me tell you something. When I finished my university, the first place I worked was a games company. Okay, so now if you deliver a game, for example, and players are playing your game and they are like, oh, what is this? What is it? The button is not working. The button is not. The character is. Okay, there was actually an issue that we had. The character of our game, one of our games, if you play up to a certain stage, up to stage 12, that character will split into stage. Okay, this was as far back as 2013. Okay, at that time, the company had not started using, these DevOps things and all that. So the character in stage 12, the character touches one particular item, it will split into like 4 different parts. So one actor has split into 4. So that's not the kind of things that customers want to see in a product. So you want a product that is mature. You want a product that does not have error. Remember what we said earlier. So that's why one of this test plan is this test plan will help you test, on Azure. You can test we're doing before you push it forward, so that you don't have. Not only that, guys, not only that if we had not taken the action, remove that game from the App Store, let me tell you what would have happened. That game was targeted at the Chinese market. Okay, now you know China has the most populous, is the most populous country in the world. They have so many population. So if 5,000 customers from China play that particular game and go and write a negative review in Apple Store, what Apple, they'll remove that game from the store and probably, give you a strict warning. So no company wants that kind of bad image, because once you get that kind of image, it affects your other product as well. So that's why you see we have all these products, all these DevOps items, so that you, at the end of the day, you have a product that is 100% working. Like the WhatsApp reaction that you have now, it's working 100%. So I just explained one of the important why we need that test plan. Okay, so I hope that you can relate with my explanation. So I'll so as to gain time, so that we don't waste too much time talking, I'll continue with the so that we don't waste too much time talking. I'll continue with the rest of the slide. Okay, so for Mr. Abu, how do we assign tasks on the Azure board? We're going to be talking about that in the last part of the lecture. If we have time, we're going to work on that. But if we do not have time, I'm going to give it to you as an assignment, because I think I'm still the one that's taking next week class. So I'm going to give it to you as an assignment. I'm going to do my own. I'm going to use the first 10 minutes of class to rush through it. So just hold on, Miriam. I got you covered. Okay, so let's continue with the class. Okay, so I think I've talked about, so for point number 2, for non-Microsoft tools like Git, Nuggets, Xcode, you can use personal access token. So if you want token when you're working with Azure DevOps, you use Active Directory and you use a Microsoft account. So long as you have an Outlook account, Microsoft account, you can authenticate, you can authenticate. But if you're not using a Microsoft product, you use personal access token. So Azure DevOps is pre-configured with default security groups and permission. Just like if you're a cloud person, you know that you need security groups, you need on permissions to work with things because of security, and because you want to have zero trust. You don't want to be running a workload and someone come and inject some SQL things or put some virus inside it. So you can also configure app access policy and conditional access policy. So just these are ways for you to explore authentication in Azure DevOps. Remember, I said Microsoft account, Active Directory. For others, you need personal access tokens. Then it comes pre-configured. So if they ask you in an interview, does it come pre-configured? Yes or no? It comes pre-configured. Now, okay, you can migrate an existing or integrate existing management tool. So if you have Trello, if you have Solidify, you can actually migrate them into Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is so accommodating, and it can accept existing management tool. Remember what we said. The boards. Remember, you want to work in an agile manner. Remember, when we hit on agile, all the positive stuff that will help you push your work fast, all the positive stuff that will make sure that you don't get a software that is not giving customers value. I told you what value is. Value is, I said this thing, I want to use it for this. It must do that work. That's value. I use it. Yeah, so I guess that you got it. So Azure DevOps is so accommodating. Other agile tools that will make work fast, that will make things go, that will make products to work, that will make communication to move fast. Azure DevOps can be integrated. Now, let's look at another very important part. Okay, so we can migrate or integrate existing management tools. Okay, we can migrate them. So Azure Test Plan are used to track sprint and milestones. Okay, there is a test and feedback extension. So if if we, this test and feedback extension, assuming that you want to, it's you can actually get it from, you see how easy it's so, hold on, you can actually get it from your Chrome extension. If you put test and feedback extension, you can actually download it from Chrome store. So you don't even need to go to Visual Studio Marketplace anymore. So other tools that you can use are Apache JMeter, Pesta, Soap UI, you know. Let's move forward. We have a long way to go. Okay, so Azure DevOps can be licensed for individual services or users. So Azure DevOps has free and paid tiers. Okay, so you want free tier, but there is limit to what you can do. But if you are really okay, you have a company and your deployment is for production, you are deploying for an enterprise grade product, you would want to use the paid tier. Okay, so GitHub also, as you all know, it's free for us individual users, but there's also a paid tier for it. So I'm not going to put the link. I'm not going to open the links for time, but just know that each one of them has paid. Each one of them has, free. So now let's look at another very important aspect of our module, Introduction to Source Control. Now, when Azure DevOps was introduced at that time, okay, it was a way to release software quickly while maintaining high level of security, okay. Well, DevOps, okay. So source control is a critical part of DevOps. Guys, don't forget this, okay. You cannot do without Git Hub or Azure DevOps if you are in. Now I'm not going to mention other tools. I'm not going to mention other tools because we are focused on Microsoft right now. So, and I know that the two products are Microsoft products. Okay, so I told you how GitHub became Microsoft bought it. So, but you cannot forget source control tools if you are doing DevOps. Remember, I said earlier that your code is your currency. So you want to make sure that your code is secure. You want to make sure that everything concerning your code is perfect. So, and you need a source control or version control tool to make that happen. So we'll be looking more into this as we move on. So let's move to the next part. Now, let's explore DevOps fundamental practices. So as a DevOps practitioner, there are certain things that you're supposed to know. Stage 0, stage 1, and stage 2. Stage 0, guys, stage 0. Monitoring and alerting are configurable by team operating the service, okay? So stage 0, you need to know all these things. What are you supposed to do? You're getting into DevOps. What are you supposed to know at stage 0? Monitoring and alerting are configurable by the team operating the service, okay? Deployment patterns for building applications are reused, okay? You can reuse a deployment pattern. Okay, this method I use for this, it has worked before. You can use it again. Testing patterns for building are reused. Oh, I use this thing to test that thing does not have bug. Oh, you can use it again. Okay, so now team contribute improvement to tooling provided by the other team. So, okay, now I've used this tool before. It made my work to be fast. I used Asana. Asana made us to collaborate and we were able to deliver that project even before the client requested for it. The client wanted us to deliver in 7 days. We delivered in 4 days because of Asana. Now you can use Asana again. Okay, now configurations are managed by a configuration management tool. So you don't use your hand to go and start working configuration. Go and get a configuration management tool. So everything you see here is, you are like shifting from doing things manually. If you look at stage 0, like, okay, you are entering the stage of let's look for something that will help us move fast. That's what all stage 0 is all about. How do we go faster? Stage 0, all the things I've mentioned will help you achieve speed. Now, stage 1, application development teams use version control, guys. Application development tools use version control. Teams deploy on a standard set of operating system. You have, okay, let's use this one. You did 2 things, guys. On this side, okay, the definition, I said you use version control, you have a standard set of operating system. Then on this other side, the practices that will contribute to what will make you successful. You build on a set of technology. You don't want to create the wheel from the scratch. You use something, okay? You are using Azure DevOps because you know that everything that you need to make your work fast is there, okay? Now you put application configuration in version control. Now you carry it and put in version control because now test infrastructure changes before deployment to production, okay? Now we'll be looking at that later on, so you see. Now source code is available to all teams. Now the source code, like I said earlier, is the currency of the whole thing, the currency of the company. So you make sure that let's say, for example, now there are 30 developers in the company, okay? Now if you did the cloud skill challenge, you see that Imo created a central repo. You go and clone it. You clone it and you put in your local development. So also, if you're working in a company and you have 30 developers, the source code is there. You clone and you work from your local environment, building on that particular repo that you clone of your company. So the source code is available to all. Okay, now let's quickly, because of time, let's quickly brush stage 2 and move on. You build on a standard of technology, yes. You deploy on a standard set of operating system, yes. Okay, so I'm not going to read all the other things out, but you can say it's almost the same, but these are fundamental concepts that you should take note of, and they help make the work go fast. So let's move forward. Okay, stage 3, individuals can work without manual approval from the outside team. I like stage 3. You can, so long as you know what you're doing. Remember we said at the beginning of when we're talking about Agile, the company must employ people that are highly motivated. The company must employ people that know the work, okay? And those people that know, they must work together. So it gets to a time where, okay, you are doing this thing every time. You know how to do it. You don't need to, go and meet somebody. You can actually, your work will move faster. So deployment patterns for building application are reused. We've seen that before. System configuration are automated. Provisioning is automated. So you are gradually seeing that as you move from stage 0, you are moving downwards. Things are picking. There's a pattern there, guys. There's a pattern you are seeing. The pattern is things are not done with hands. Things are moving from, things are moving into automation. Things are moving very fast. Things are being automated. That's just it. Let me not mince my word. Things are being. It started from 0 when you started making provision. As it's getting to stage 5, you see that your hand is getting stronger. You are using automation for everything. You don't use manual process. Everything is automated. So let's move forward, guys. We don't have time. Now, what is source control? What is source control? Guys, I like this. When I was starting my own journey, okay, I have this thing. My trainer told me that my mentor told me that I should use. He called it study Bible. He said I should go and get a jotter. Okay, I should take note of the first 60 words that I come across. So if you're new today, if this is your first time of ever attending any of our lectures or of our study, please go and get a jotter. Everything that tickles your fancy, like this source control, write it down. Version control, write it down. So now let me start with source control. A source control system allows developers to collaborate on code and track changes. Can someone mention in the chat window for me any source control tool that they know before I change it? See the definition. A source control system allows developers to collaborate on code and track changes. Okay. You use version control to save their work and coordinate changes across your team. So who can tell me what the source control system, an example of it is? Now, a version control saves a snapshot of your file, okay? So if you have a version control, it saves it. So let me tell you one very important use of these things, okay? So now, assuming that you are working in an open office, an open space, no, maybe, okay, assuming that your code, for example, someone come and just like work on it and modified it without your permission. Someone modified your code. How do you know that the person, if you use a version control system, the time the person worked on it, and the person probably logged in from his account to go and modify that code, it will show that the person does not like it. The person is, so you will see the history of when the person modified your code, who, and the timestamp. So the version control is actually very, very important to keep, in case you want. And not only that, okay, let me give you another typical example of, but not related to code now. Another typical, a relatable example. Now, in your computer, you see that your computer takes, it saves your backup to certain points in case there's any problem you have with your laptop. All you just need to go is to go to that part where they save that backup. Like one, okay, some those, I have like 3 computers. One of my computer, so it was refusing to turn on, so I had to go to that point. I had to open it. I saw that there were like about 6 different backup points. So I just like clicked on one and rolled back the changes to that particular point where before the incident happened. So that's the kind of thing that a version control system will do for you. It helps you to roll back your changes. It helps you to see history of what is happening to your code. Now, source control protect your source code from catastrophe, okay, and the casual degradation of human error. So this was what I was trying to tell you about the other time, that in case anything happens. Let's move forward. I don't know if we have, let me see how much time we have. Oh, we only have 9 more minutes. I'll try to move faster. Okay, so now, sorry, excuse me, sorry. So now, you can see from the diagram, okay, when you create a workflow, you work with the versions. Remember what we talked about version control. You work with the versions, you collaborate, you maintain history, and finally you automate tasks. So the DevOps process helps you to, it's an iterative process. It works with stages. So the first part of it is actually when you put in your work, okay, the version control, you build. See, guys, every time you are with your computer as a developer working for a software company, okay, you're working with your local environment, you're working in your local environment. The thing immediately when you finished, okay, it will because the process is automated, it will save it, it will build it, it will unit test it, okay, then it will deploy it. Remember, this pipeline that you are seeing, this thing that you are seeing, it's the previous slides we just saw just a few minutes ago. We said that from stage 0, when we are getting to stage 5, we don't do things with hand anymore. So this thing that you're saying, there's an automation that happens. There is automation in the process. So immediately as a developer, you finish your code, you put it in, something will pick it up to automatically build it, unit test it, and it will deploy. What is deployment? Remember the WhatsApp reaction you are using, because is a final product, it went into production. So this same process, that was what it went through before you finally got it. It got deployed into production, and you are using it today. So the developers first of all use their local environment. They coded, version control picked it up automatically. It was built, it was unit tested. For each time a developer does anything, unit tested, deployed, auto tested, deployed to production, and the process is like it continues on and on and on and on. Sorry guys, I think that we are moving forward, but time is so. Best practices for source control. Okay, best practice for source control. It makes small changes. in the sense that if you code now and you stop at 5 p.m., that little thing that you code, it will pick it up. Okay, so don't commit personal file. You don't commit personal file. Remember that you're working for a company. So update often and write before you push to avoid mass conflict. Okay, update before you push. This is very important. or you have match conflict. So the list goes on and on. So no matter your background or preferences, be a team player. So the DevOps process requires people to be open, a shift of culture. You must be a team player to be able to survive in a DevOps environment. If you are stuck up in your mentality, you cannot work as a DevOps engineer because you won't fit in. You have problems. Okay, now let's describe source control system. Okay, so we have a understand centralized control, centralized source control. Okay, the centralized one easily scales to a large code base. Guys, take note of this. Centralized one will scale to a large code base. Now, JIT is not a very good example of a large code base. Okay, so so granular, the centralized one has granular permissions. It permits monitoring of usage. It allows exclusive file locking. So these are very, very important aspects that you can look up. I think that my brain immediately picks scales to a very large code base for centralized one. Okay, so now you can use them for integrated code base. Okay, audit and control runs down to file level. And okay, so now there is a single central copy of your project, and programmers can commit their changes to this central copy. Know that for centralized system, there's a single programmers can commit their changes. But typical examples of them, if you are looking at getting a job in a DevOps job in a place like TopTal, for example, you'll come across this. This is a typical interview question. So you might want to take note of it in your study Bible. You never know. Don't know when you come across it again. Now, common centralized source control system and Team Foundation version control. Remember, I said it was a product that Microsoft had at the beginning. The online version became Azure DevOps. So a TFVC is very, very important. It's a centralized source control system. Okay. Now, CVS, Subversion, and Perforce. So these are examples of centralized. Let's move forward. So now, let's look at distributed source control system. So distributed support, they have cross-platform support. You can use in different platforms. That's what that means. Okay, they're open source, code friendly, and you can use pull requests. The best example of this is JIT. JIT, the best example of a distributed source control is JIT. So I want you to understand the difference between centralized and distributed. So the examples I gave you earlier, Team Foundation version control, Perforce, and all the other ones are centralized, but distributed one supports, so just think about all the little nifty things that you've been doing with JIT. So those are all strengths of a distributed source control. So they are smaller. The distributed support smaller code base. Okay, the centralized large code base. Okay, so assuming that you have a company with 2,000 developers, does any company even have 2,000 developers? Yeah, possible. You won't use JIT. You'll have to use a centralized because you need a large code base for all your workers. For your developers, I'm sorry. So every developer clones a copy of the repo, just like as you would do with JIT and GitHub. Every developer clones a copy of the repo and has a full history of the project. So common distributed are Mercurial, JIT, and Bazaar. So let's move ahead because I'm afraid our time is almost up. Okay, so now so JIT is distributed. Team Foundation version control is centralized. Okay, so I'm going to push forward so we can see all the benefits of why you should choose JIT. See all the good things about it. There's a community. It's open source. It has release record. You can make pull requests, and you see how clean it is. Okay, so understand object JIT. So I think our time is up, but I'll just flip through the remaining of the slides. Okay, so if you did our cloud skill challenge, okay, you should not have any problem doing this. Okay, so and if you still having any problem working locally with JIT, I'd like you to go to our old videos of that cloud skill challenge, I think the first thing that the trainer did was he showed you how to push from a local environment to JIT. So I do not need to do this demo for you again. I think I'll just spend 5 more minutes, flip through all the slides, because we'll have another thing next week. Okay, so work with Azure Repos. I've already shown you Azure Repos. I've talked a lot about Team Foundation version control. It's centralized, by the way. Okay, so features of GitHub. GitHub automate from code. I told you if you did our class key challenge, you should not have any issues with this as well. But from next week would so you can easily from next week would work practically. So you see that you can easily move things from from Azure DevOps to Team Foundation version control by just importing. It's as easy as that. So with just a single branch import, you can actually move things directly from your Azure DevOps to your Team Foundation version control. So we've looked at Agile plan. In the process, I knew that time might not be enough. That's why I quickly opened my Azure DevOps account. So I showed you Azure bots and all that. But maybe I'll show you GitHub project before we close this. I'm going to show you GitHub project quickly before we end today's class. So you can see how Azure bot is. Okay, so next week, I'll use the first 5 minutes to show you the assignment that I've accomplished. I'll put the link. I want you all to do it before we start next week's topic. We're going to be looking at that. So the bots can help you track changes, and we've talked about all that. So we've done all this. Okay, so let's do the last. Let me quickly show you GitHub projects before we go. Just give me a minute or two. Okay, so for that, I need to open my GitHub account. Let me share my screen quickly. Window. Okay, so GitHub project is exactly what the Azure board is doing that it to do. You can assign issue, you can see who is doing. So to get it you just need to, like mine is already in my, so you see where your picture is, just go there, you click on projects. Okay, so let's look at this, for example. Let's look at this demo, for example. Okay, so you can actually add items, and we can add items and hold on. We can add items, see who is doing. Okay, see what I was saying. Okay, so we can add items. Maybe there are like 100 items here. If somebody picks it, that okay, the person that picks that item in his own account as the team member, automatically the thing will be in progress for the person. When the person finish doing it, will turn to done. So it's you have this thing in Azure board. It's also in GitHub as well. So it helps you to for share the link video for GitHub training. Okay, so for the GitHub training that I was talking about is the cloud skill challenge, because you needed to really understand how to push from your local environment to be able to do it. So I think it took just go to the community web community YouTube account. You should see it there. Okay, I think we are good for today, but let me flip through the last part of the slide before we call it a day. Sorry, give me a minute. Give me a minute. So the little takeaways from today's class. Okay, I want you to have a mindset. Okay, if you want to work as a DevOps engineer, okay, your first Microsoft has it covered. That's it. Number two, you need to have an open mindset. Number three, you need to move from doing things manually. That was what we saw from stage 0 to stage 5. You started moving slowly until you got to stage 5, and you saw that everything became automated. So you need a lot of automation to do DevOps. Okay, now you need we talked about distributed, and we talked about centralized version control system. Okay, so you need a source control system, a version control system for your work. You need to understand Git and GitHub. Okay, you need to understand Azure DevOps. But that's why we are here. We got you covered. So we've looked at this. So this is, so you have work that you planned. Okay, so I think that we will. Okay, so in GitHub you also have discussion teams. You have, okay, so last item is the assignment. So I'm gonna drop this. I want you all to make an attempt, and next week I want you all to make an attempt. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link with Imo. Imo is going to put it in the chat window. So I want you all to make an attempt. So the first 10 minutes of class, we'll look at it together. Guys, I want you to make an attempt. You know why? Because I want to, the community is actually preparing you for AZ400. And not only that, the closest way, the closest thing to AZ money, man, is AZ400. So please make effort. Okay, so make an attempt. All the instructions are there. I'll use the first 10 minutes to go through, and if you really make an attempt, you would it will pay you off. Thank you all for attending this session. I hope to see you again next week Sunday by 3 o'clock. Bye for now, guys. One love. Keep dreaming big. Let's pursue easy money. Thank you. Bye for now.